good people? I am here today. Now, as you know, I'm sharing my journey with you all, my 6 month journey with my physical health, my mental health, and now I am here finally in my uterine health. I am here with Tiana James, and she's going to be teaching me about my uterine health. Um, why was uterine health so important to you, or why did you want to take it seriously?
Well, it's a long story.
Okay.
You want my long story? You want my short story?
I want the story that'll get people.
It is a 10-year long story.
Okay.
Okay, but this is how it happened because I never, before I got pregnant with my son, which my son is 10 now, so that was back in 2012 when I got pregnant with him. I never had any knowledge about reproductive health, anything like that. I always, let me see, how old was I when I got pregnant with him? I probably was like 26 because I had him at 27. So I got pregnant with him when I was 27. Before that, I was more into like outer body appearance, so I worked out a lot. I didn't know anything about like the mental health, reproductive health, or anything like that. But I had tried so many different kinds of birth control from 18 to 26. Started with the pill, always had problems with the pill, always trying different pills. I got on the depot shot one time because I didn't want to worry about remembering to take my pill every day. So I heard about like, oh, you just get this one shot every 3 months and it take your period away so you don't have to worry about anything.
Did you gain weight with it?
I only took one.
Oh.
Because my hair started falling out.
See?
All of my hair was gone. And I was bleeding for 30 days.
See?
And I just was like, you know
crazy.
what? I'm going back to the pill. Always had issues with the pill. And so, come to 26, 27 years old, and I'm like, you know what? I don't want none of these hormones in my body. It just was something I had never heard about, birth control having horrible side effects. The side effects that I had was more like it just didn't feel good. It just didn't feel good. I couldn't articulate what it was that I didn't like. I didn't feel good. And I'm like, I just don't want none of these hormones. So I'm gonna get the Mirena.
Okay.
Which was the IUD that it was the Paragard that doesn't have any copper. It works off copper, but it doesn't have any hormones in it.
Okay.
So I'm like talking to my doctor at the time, I'm like, I don't want kids right now. I do want kids later, but right now I need about 7 more years. And I know with the Paragard, I think you can have it for like 10 years.
Okay.
And so she was like, okay, well, you have to come off the pill, come on your period. When you come on your period, you come in to get it inserted. Okay? Stop the pill. But I didn't stop having sex.
Okay, all right.
So I got pregnant immediately.
Okay.
My period never came. And I got pregnant immediately. So I went into my doctor like, okay, I took a pregnancy test. I'm pregnant. So she took a pregnancy test also, confirmed that I was pregnant. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm having a baby.
Right.
Even though I didn't want to, but we're going to do this. Yeah. And so, I don't know, like, I just was on the internet crazy researching, like, how do people control pregnancy without hormones? Because after this, I need to figure out how I'm going to go about birth control without any pills or hormones.
Yeah, and that's how most women need to think, because being in a new relationship, he has already said, I do not want any more kids. So I don't want to take any contraception, birth control, NuvaRing, and none of that, because I have suffered from abnormal cervical cells. And I just don't want to put anything foreign in my body. We go through so much from as far as cervical cancer, fibroids, and all of this stuff, and I just didn't want any hormones affecting the outcome of me potentially having or getting cervical cancer in the future. I just didn't want to take that risk. So aside from condoms, because we're grown, we practice safe sex by getting tested for STDs, and we're in a monogamous, serious, or committed relationship. So that's our safe sex. So how can someone like me who doesn't want to get pregnant, or for some people who maybe want to get pregnant, how can I track my fertile days and my ovulation? Because right now, I'm gonna be honest, like most women, the mass majority, all we do is put in when we start in our period, because that's all the doctor asks. When do you start?
Okay.
When do you end?
So I'm gonna answer that question by continuing my story of how I got here. So online, trying to research how to go about this natural reproductive health and how to have I always been like not wanting to take medications. I never was into my Excedrin, Motrin, Tylenol. Like, okay, how am I going to have this baby naturally? How am I going to control pregnancy naturally afterwards? Because I heard some things that you can control pregnancy naturally, but always was like, oh, that doesn't work. So found this birthing class called the Bradley Method. Okay. And the Bradley Method is husband coached birthing. Now that I look back on it, it's a very conservative and kind of religious kind of practice. The Bradley Method is, but it's good to learn about how your body works. So it's a 12-week course that taught you how to deliver your child naturally without medical intervention. So whether you're in the hospital or having your baby at home, how to deliver naturally. And that course started my journey because I learned so much about the entire body, but a lot about the reproductive body. Got it. And it just taught you a lot about like what is going on through labor, natural ways to kind of just like regulate the nervous system while you're in labor so that it's not as painful as when you are a nervous wreck. After that, well, part of that class, you had to go to a breastfeeding support group. And because they taught you about breastfeeding, which before that class, I was like, I'm never breastfeeding. But then when you learned about all the benefits of breastfeeding, it was like, why wouldn't anybody breastfeed? So I went to the breastfeeding group, and it was like eye-opening, like, okay, I can do this. After I had my baby, which I had completely natural, thanks to the Bradley Method coaching course, because when I got to the hospital, they wanted to set me up for emergency C-section. Oh, wow. Because of that training that I had, I knew that I could say no. Oh, okay. I already had a birthing plan, really, that I presented to my doctor, and we went with that. But I knew that I could say no. Right. I knew that I could say I don't want any residents practicing on me, because it was a resident who was trying to set me up for emergency C-section. And told her no, and avoided a C-section because I knew my body. That's good. And I knew my rights also in the hospital. Had my son completely natural. And then after, breastfeeding is hard. Okay? It's natural, but it's hard. Especially when you don't have support from the people around you. So breastfeeding was horrible at first. And so I started going back to the La Leche League breastfeeding support groups. And they would just teach you like how to get into your rhythm, how to find your positions that work for you, because different breast sizes or shapes call for different holds with the baby. Like you don't know all of that stuff if nobody around you is teaching you.
And I had C-section.
And if I didn't go back to that La Leche League group, I know that I would have stopped breastfeeding because it was too hard. And so I would keep going to the group like once a week, and then they got into talking about not getting on birth control, because if you get on birth control, it's going to slow your milk supply down.
A lot of women probably don't know that.
And so, no, because as soon as you have the baby, they want to talk to you about birth control, right? So, it was all white women in this group. It was one black woman, and well, it was two, including me. It was held at a Catholic church. Okay. So she said, don't get on birth control because, in that way, don't get on birth control. It's going to slow your milk supply down. And so everybody already knew that. And then I'm like, well, how are you all controlling pregnancy? Like, how are you avoiding getting pregnant if you're not on birth control? And they told me about these two books. One was the Garden of Fertility, and one was Taking Charge of Your Fertility.
Okay.
So I started with Taking Charge of Your Fertility, and I read through that book, and I had a lot of emotions.
Okay.
But the first emotion was anger.
Oh.
It was anger because that book taught you so much about your body.
Yeah.
And your reproductive systems, and how your reproductive system is connected to your nervous system, your endocrine system, everything.
Yeah.
It taught you so much. And it taught you how to track your cycles so you can identify your fertile phase.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't even know we had phases. I just thought we
Yeah,
had a period and that's it.
Right, exactly.
It taught you about the different phases of your cycles. And so, like I said, I was angry at first because I felt like this information was being hidden from black women. Because all these white women knew this, but this little black girl never heard it. And because I do hair, I'm doing hair, talking to my clients, talking to them about what I'm reading in the book. I'm like, you ever heard of this? You ever heard? Nobody knew any of this. So it was like, you know what? I need to be able to share this with my community. And I learned about, it's called fertility awareness, how you learn how to identify your fertile phase and identify your infertile phases. Because the fertile phase is right in the middle of your cycle. So when they say that you ovulate around day 14, you know, that's true for some women, but everybody's cycle is different, and day 14 is not true for everyone.
Got it, okay.
And so there's a way to track your cycles. So people think about like the rhythm method when they think about fertility awareness, and it's not the same thing. The rhythm method is like, you have 28-day cycle, around day 14 is where you avoid sperm getting into. But like I said, everybody don't have 28-day cycles, so they're not going to ovulate around day 14. And so the rhythm method, you're going to get pregnant off that because it's not accurate. So when you learn fertility awareness, you learn how to choose each day or decide each day whether you're fertile or not, based off of what they call biomarkers. So cervical mucus, basal body temperature, cervical position. Those are the three things that you track when you learn fertility awareness. But the thing is, you have to pay attention to your body every single day to determine what phase of your cycle that you're in. And you got to chart it down. You got to record it on the chart and keep track of it. Like, you can't just be like, I think yesterday I saw something. No, like, you got to record it on the chart.
So what should your body temperature be?
Well, when you're taking your basal body temperature every day, basal body temperature is your body's temperature at its base rate. So you can call it resting rate also. So after you sleep for 3 to 5 hours, your body is at its resting rate.
Got it.
The heat and the energy that it's putting out is at its base rate. So you got to learn your phases of your cycle. But in your pre-ovulatory phase, before you ovulate, you should be in a range of like 97.4 to 97.8, right?
So it's probably wise to wake up, take your temperature.
Yep.
So when you start,
So that's what you do. When you take your basal body temperature, you wake up before you even get out of the bed, because your body can't exert any energy. As soon as you exert energy, you heat up, right? You need to get your base rate. So you take your temperature, it should be in a range. After you ovulate, that rate, that heat will go up. Your body warms up to prepare for pregnancy. Every single month, you're going through this cycle that just prepares for pregnancy over and over and over again. So after you ovulate, your body's warming up even at its base rate. It should be like 97.8 and 98.5 or 6. You know, it's a subtle change, but when you're plotting it on the graph, you'll see a shift. And so that way, so when you take your basal body temperature, you're able to identify that ovulation has already happened. You can't know that you can't predict ovulation with basal body temperature, but you confirm ovulation with basal body temperature. With cervical mucus comes around ovulation. So it'll come days before ovulation And some women, it'll dry up right after ovulation, or it'll start to dry up a couple of days after ovulation. So you're always checking every day throughout the day.
Yeah.
When you use the bathroom for cervical mucus.
Okay.
When you see that cervical mucus, that is when you avoid getting sperm into on your vulva or into your vagina.
When it's
so the mucus will
clear.
start off, but even before it gets thin. So it'll start off like sticky, kind of pasty, but then it'll progress to more creamy, like lotion. And then when you are very close to ovulation, it'll turn into clear, stretchy, looking like raw egg white or aloe vera gel or something like that.
And that's the time that you can't get pregnant. No.
All of the times that you have cervical mucus is when you want to avoid getting semen on your vulva and in your vagina. Because when that cervical mucus is present, that is how the semen or the sperm gets to the egg that's released. Only in the presence of that cervical mucus, and it only comes about 5 to 6 days in the cycle. So when I learned that, I'm like, okay, they have us taking these birth control pills every day of our cycle when we're only able to get pregnant in 1 week of your cycle, right?
Yeah.
So once I learned that, I learned how to chart. I had started teaching myself how to chart, doing it on my own. But then I'm like, I really want to teach, because if I knew this as if I knew this about my body as a young teenager, I would have respected my body more. I would have loved my body more. I would have made better decisions with my body and who I allowed into my body. And so, like, I gotta teach women this. I gotta teach young girls this, because this could change everything.
Yeah, it could. Most definitely.
It does. It changes everything.
You know what I'm saying? Because hormones affect us in so many different ways. Affect our moods and just
everything. But we are not taught that. Like, we don't know that. Oh, I'm emotional, but why am I emotional? Well, first of all, because you have these cycles of hormone. You have a hormonal cycle, right? You have a hormonal cycle that influences how active and energetic you are, how your cravings, like how you feel. Like, if we just knew these phases and understood, okay, this is why I don't feel like doing anything today, and I'm going to honor that because that is how my body is working.
You'll be able to better understand yourself.
Working in harmony with your body instead of against it. Because when you work against your body, that's when you are breaking down. Like, you just break down and nothing goes right. You try to push through when really your body is saying, girl, chill out right now.
Yes, that's true.
So, that's how you can control your pregnancy once you learn your phases, once you are able to identify your fertile phase, once you're able to identify ovulation. After ovulation happens, you do not ovulate anymore in your cycle. And you have about a 2-week phase that you're infertile before your period starts.
And so how long does it take for you to get to know your body when you're charting all of these things, like to where you're like, I trust myself enough, I know my body enough I can prevent pregnancy? I can
at least 3 months. At least like 3 cycles it'll take for you to be like, okay, I kind of see patterns that happen in these 3 cycles, and now I know, how my cycles play out. But they always change according to stress levels, activity levels, travel. If you have a job change, if you have, if you're moving, like from apartment to apartment or state to state, if you're traveling by air, especially if you're traveling by air, all could affect how your cycle plays out. So that's why the fertility awareness is more effective than the rhythm method, because the rhythm method is just going off of 28 days. Fertility awareness is going off of what happened in your life today. What did your body tell you today through symptoms that you experienced?
What was your stress level?
Okay, so like sometimes This started in 2016. That I would have like seizures when I have high anxiety, and so um, let me see, like a couple of cycles ago, I had a seizure right in my fertile phase. And I was able to see how it affected ovulation. Yeah. It delayed ovulation. It shut, like I was in my fertile phase, I was having cervical mucus coming, and I had that seizure, and the cervical mucus cleared up. But because I was doing my basal body temperature, I didn't see that shift. I knew that I didn't ovulate. And then a couple of days, after my body came back into regulation after that seizure, a couple days later, the cervical mucus started again. Yeah. And then ovulation happened, and I was able to confirm that through the basal body temperature. But if I was just using a period tracker, the period tracker would have said, you're ovulating around these days. It didn't take account of what I experienced to delay ovulation. Okay. And so then I would have thought, okay, now my fertile phase is over, I can have sex again. Yeah. But then I would have been having sex right when ovulation happened and get pregnant. You see what I'm saying? So like, fertility awareness goes by every day you chart whatever symptoms that you want to find a pattern in. Whether it's a headache, whether what your cravings were that day, your mood, what kind of stress level you experience, because some people have stressful days at work. Like today just took me out today. Like I'm gonna turn that down, because it really does affect your cycle.
See, like that's the epitome of really knowing your body.
And I like to tell people symptoms are signs. When we experience symptoms that are abnormal, it is your body telling you that something is off balance. Okay. Just like when your car is out of balance, say you have low oil or your oil needs to be changed, it'll probably start putt-putting or whatever. That's a symptom. That's a sign. Yeah. So that's what this shirt, that's what my brand is called, Listen to Her. Listen to your body, like really tune into your body every day to understand what it is trying to tell you. And if I'm always having migraines every morning when I wake up and I take a Tylenol or Excedrin to mask those symptoms, you kind of just telling your body, shut up, I don't got time for that today, I need to do what I gotta do. Listening to your body is like, okay, what's going on in my life? Like, is my blood sugar too low? Or, am I having my regular bowel movements every morning? Why am I having these headaches? Listening to your body, figuring out what the root of those symptoms are so you can restore balance to your cycles, because we are, as females, our physiology is cyclical. So just understanding where you are in your cycle so you can take care of yourself properly.
That's very important. I hope you all got that all the information, because I have. It's so much things that I learned just in this conversation about how things I can do going forward to prevent and learn my body. So I'm excited. So for somebody who is new like me, who is not familiar with the charting, how can I learn this? Do you teach classes?
Yes. So I am a fertility awareness educator. I am a menstrual cycle awareness educator. I am a holistic reproductive health practitioner. Those are my titles. Right. Those are my titles that I'm working on, because I'm actually in the end of my internship with it's called Justice College International. So they are a small niche college based in Canada that teaches you, or you join the course of how to become a fertility awareness educator. But I like to call it menstrual cycle awareness educator because it's more about the whole menstrual cycle. Even though the practice is called fertility awareness, I find that Black women avoid the word fertility, because most Black women are not trying to have children or any more children, or just don't want to have children yet. And they kind of avoid oh no, I don't want to be fertile. But actually you do want to be fertile. Your body, as a human, we are supposed to be fertile, whether you're male or female. That is, a healthy body is a fertile body. Just like you don't want seedless watermelons. Correct. Right? Yeah. Everybody say avoid seedless watermelons. If your fruit is not fertile, you don't want to eat it. Right. If your body is not fertile, that means that you are not nature is deciding that you're not a good reproductive unit. When you are not a good reproductive unit, you are here using Earth's resources, but you are not contributing to the continuation of life. So nature is going to try to get rid of you because you're using up resources. And so then that's when your risk for degenerative diseases increase.
Okay.
So that's when you're not fertile, your body starts to break down.
Okay.
By different disorders, and however your gene expression plays out, you may get heart issues, or this person might get diabetes, or just everybody's symptoms come in a different way. But you want to be fertile. I teach you, even when you are trying to avoid pregnancy, I teach you how to optimize your fertility, how to make your cycles healthy. Because when your cycles are healthy, your overall health is thriving, right?
This is true.
And so teaching you how to optimize your fertility, but learning how to avoid pregnancy at the same time.
Yeah.
You want to ovulate every month. You want to have a healthy menstruation every month, or every cycle. And I don't remember what your question was.
You answered it.
Okay.
You answered it. Girl, listen, I'm about to get this class. I know
I do.
take your class.
I teach women fertility awareness, but also menstrual cycle awareness. So I have 2 different programs where it's a fertility awareness charting program where I just teach you how to learn your menstrual cycles, how to chart them down or record them on your chart, identify your fertile phases, and avoid pregnancy. And then I have a menstrual cycle awareness charting program where we go more in depth. So you learn the same things that you learn in a fertility awareness charting program, but then you learn more about how to chart other symptoms and biomarkers to find patterns in whether it's disorders or discomforts that you experience, or if you don't have any issues, but just how to monitor your cycles to look to you wanna be looking for, like, if your cycles are balanced, but even if they're imbalanced, and how to restore that balance and heal from any symptoms that you're experiencing, optimizing your fertility still. But I just teach you more in-depth things to chart so we can restore the balance and have healthy menstrual cycles. And you have healthy menstrual cycles, everything else
you feel so much
will
better.
flourish.
Well, that's amazing information, and I'm excited, and I know a lot of women out there are excited too, because we spend so much money on fertility drugs, we spend so much money on birth control, and it all affects us mentally. And in this day and age, we are trying to focus so much on our mental health and just getting to know your body, like Tiana said, from the inside out. It really plays a factor on our everyday well-being and our everyday living and our mood. So she has these shirts. I have one. This one says, "Learn, heal, grow, repeat, and listen to her." So kind of tell us about your brand and tell us about what this means to you.
Okay, so I explained a little bit about what Listen to Her is. That is the name of my brand, Listen to Her, because that's just what I kept coming to when I'm teaching my clients. Like, you have to learn how to listen to your body, because she speaks to you through the different symptoms that you experience throughout the day. You have to listen to her. Like I said, if you always have a headache and you just pop a Tylenol to get rid of it, that's you telling your body to shut up. I don't want to hear it. But when you listen to your body, like your body is telling you something, you say, okay, what am I doing in my life? What am I like, how are my habits? How is my diet? How is my lifestyle contributing to what I'm experiencing? And then you have to, like, just be in tune with yourself. Pay attention. Like I've been having, like, some hip pain for the last couple days. And I'm like, where did this come from? I didn't fall. I didn't do nothing. Like, where did this come from? Right? Like, so this morning, I realized where it came from. Like, instead of when you bend down, you want to squat.
Right.
I have been lifting one leg up and pivoting. And I need to go in the bottom. I needed to go to the bottom shelf of my refrigerator, and my crazy self pivoted on one leg, and I felt it. I said, "Oh, that's where it's coming from." Okay, let me get my posture together and stop putting this stress on my hip. Like, it's like that. Just being in tune. Like, what am I doing to cause this? Because our bodies don't just break because we're getting older. That's not real. Our bodies break down because of what we are doing that is out of balance. Yes. Right? Yeah. So just being in tune with your body, learning how to listen to her because she speaks to you. The learn, heal, grow, repeat was something that came to me in the shower. I talk to myself in the shower all the time. That's my favorite place.
If you can see, she talk.
I talk to myself in the shower. I love it because I feel like that's when God like really comes to me in the shower. And I'm just talking to myself like what I want to do with my life. I spent the first 25 years of my life not learning, and I know that sounds crazy because that's when you go to school, but I was not present for the first 25 years of my life.
Most of us probably weren't.
And that's a whole nother story, okay? But I was not present, okay? And I, like, when I had my son, first it started with the birthing classes, like, really, like, coming to awareness about the power of my body. But when I had my son, even more, like, I feel like I woke up even more, and I'm like, oh my God, I got this body, I brought this life into this world, like, I thought about my future more, and I'm like, I have a lot of stuff to learn, because I want to be better. I want to do better. I want better for my son. I want him to have not more than I have, I just want him to have more awareness, knowledge. More power. I want to do better, and I think that we all come to that at some point of our life. And so I love to learn. I never liked to learn. Right. I always hated school. I had the lowest grade point average.
Okay.
Okay. So but when I started learning about my body, like that, I love learning about my body, and I love learning about nature, everything. And so it came to me like, I just want to learn. I want to learn. And when you learn, especially when I learned about mental and emotional health, that was not a thing in my like younger years growing up. My mother today, I still don't think she understands what mental health is. And when you learn about mental health, you learn about how your past and traumatic experience come out in the way that you respond to daily experiences. Yes, it does. And so it was like, I just want to keep learning. I want to heal from my past. Okay. I want to grow. And I was like, I'm learning, I'm healing, I'm growing, starting over. I tell Eli, my son, he played his games. I was playing Sonic with him the other day. And you know how you have this level? It might take you 3 times to finish this level. Like, to complete this level, you got to start over. Every single time that you play this level, you learn something from the last time, right? You were like, okay, I got to do this. We was just doing it. I'm like, okay, Eli, this is what we got to do to beat the man at the end, all right? It's probably going to take us a couple times, but we're going to get through it. Every level that you get to, you have to learn that level. You got to heal from them past deaths, those past trauma experiences, and you grow to be able to handle the next level. And it's like, you just keep repeating every level. Learn, heal, grow, repeat. And so that's how that was me talking to myself in the shower, like, I'm just gonna learn, I'm gonna heal, I'm gonna grow, repeat that, learn, heal, grow, repeat, learn, heal, I'm going to the top. Learn, heal, and grow, and repeat it. And that's where that came from. And every day I just tell myself, learn, heal, grow, repeat.
That's a model for real to live by, for real people. So how can people find you? Like, how can people find you on social media?
Okay, so I've been toggling between YouTube and Instagram lately. I do my long form education on YouTube. You can find me at Tiana James, Tianna, last name James, spelled proper. I think that's how you search me on YouTube, but also because I saw this little girl as Tiana James on there too. That's not me. That little white girl is not me.
I'll link her social media.
So, but I also have my handle on YouTube, starring.Tiana is the same as on Instagram. So it's at starring, STARRING, period, Tiana, TIANNA. So that's Instagram, YouTube. I'm on Facebook too as Tiana James. I'm Tiana James everywhere. Starring Tiana. Facebook also, Instagram, YouTube, Tiana James. TianaJames.com to learn more about my holistic reproductive health services.
And to take your classes too. Right?
Yep, you can sign up. If you go on TianaJames.com, I have complimentary discovery calls that you can book. It's a 30-minute discovery call. So if you have like more questions or curiosities about your unique situation that you just want to discuss to see if menstrual cycle awareness or fertility awareness is right for you, you can book a call with me and we can talk about that. And yeah, my services are on there also. And
I think that's all we needed. How to find you, right? How to get this information one-on-one, sit down with to learn more every day. Like you said, you're learning, you're growing, and you're repeating this. And I think that's very important. I just want to thank you. We've been talking about this for a while. We've been talking, yes. And I just think it came at the right moment. So I appreciate you taking the time out to educate not only myself, but everybody who's going to be watching. So thank you so much. You're welcome.
This was fun.
All right, peace.